coming off a massive performance and a massive victory, back up at welterweight, his UFC welterweight debut. Brilliant performance from Anthony Showtime Pettis. Anthony, first of all, you must be really, really happy with that performance on a Monday morning.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. You know, we had a great camp. I didn't have to cut weight. It felt so good to be have energy in there. So and it shows in the fight. You know, to have energy in there and to perform the way I did, it had to do with the weight cut. It had to do with the game plan. The whole training camp was just a great camp.
Yeah, talk to me about obviously the weight cut. You know, I saw you in Brooklyn at 155. It was tough. You look pretty badly drained. Obviously, you were down at 45 before in the past as well. But talk to me about, you know, you translating the weight in there at 170 pounds. It's night and day, the difference, and it clearly showed on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I was definitely the smaller man in the octagon that night, but it didn't really matter because I had the energy to absorb the punishment. You know, at 155, if I go in there with the mindset, man, I'm weak and I'm hurt and I'm tired from the weight cut, that's what shows in the fight. And you know, this time I had a big man attacking me with some big strikes, and I just weathered the storm and we stayed true to the game plan.
How tough was that? You know, Stephen is a long, rangy, difficult guy. Obviously, your teammates with T Wood. T Wood's been in there with him before. T Wood, I know, walked in and he spoke with you. You had a training session on a Friday night as well before the fight. What did he say? Did he maybe give you a tip or two on how to deal with him?
You know, Willie's game is so different than mine. It's hard to get advice from him. You know, he's a wrestler. I don't have that advantage of wrestling. You know, I'm a striker, so we took the approach totally different. You know, I have more kicks, more weapons, I think, with the striking department, whereas Willie has that right hand that, you know, if he hits it, it's over. So for me, it was like, how do I make it a strike? How do I make it a fair advantage? How do I get an advantage in this striking match? And the only way to do that was taking his legs out, because he was so agile, so quick in his movement, and he could literally punch you from anywhere. You know, his Wonder Boy striking range was the longest I've ever fought. You know, I sparred with some of the greats, heavyweights even, and they don't have the striking range that Wonder Boy had. So it was initially, you know, that was a shock for me, how far he could hit me from. And then, you know, I just had to figure it out, man. I knew it was a puzzle, and I figured it out. I started attacking the legs. I got a little closer. The right hand almost hit him a couple times when I threw it, so I just saved it. I don't want to waste my punches and not hit them and frustrate myself. I saved my punches for the right time, and when I did throw it, you know, it landed.
Definitely. And I want to ask you that, you know, I remember speaking to you in Brooklyn at 223. Obviously, the fight fell out, but you said maybe you didn't go back to your basics, and I think this time there looked to be a more cerebral approach. Is that fair to say? You know, the Muay Thai stance we just talked about, that you went in, you got in his face, you closed the angles, and you were the Andy Pettis of old.
Yeah, I think when I say the details, it's not the jabs, the crosses, the actual techniques. It's what I'm doing in between the techniques, the details of how I'm attacking these guys. I got into a pattern of allowing these guys to push me back, and it really limited my striking. And then I was defending takedowns so hard with that backward pressure, it took away all my attacks. And then I become not a dangerous guy. And then I was trying to force the flash. And, you know, that got me in trouble as well. So it just feels good to know that, you know, the basics is what makes the Showtime Superman punches happen. You know, I didn't throw a lot of right hands. I didn't try to throw that thing flashy. I just knew I had to do something a little extra to reach him. That's why, you know, I threw the kick up. He was reading the kick, and I just, you know, let that right hand go over the top.
I thought you did very well in that opening round. How satisfying was it for you to make the move to 170 and to see the power and everything translate over? Because there was a lot of people, you know, doubting you going up to 170 as well.
Yeah, you know, I think people thought I was going to be fat at 170 pounds, but they don't realize, you know, I walk 195. I've been to 200 pounds before, especially after the 45-pound cut. I really hurt my body on that, you know. When I cut to 55, when I rehydrate, I fought Tony Ferguson heavier than I did Wonder Boy,
wow,
just because my body held everything. You know, I think it's like a sodium thing. I still got to figure that out, like why my body holds the day after. Because even this fight, you know, the Wonder Boy fight, I looked a little fat in there, a little fatter than I am. Like right now, I'm shredded, and then like that night, it's just something has to do with the sodium. So I got to figure that out as well. But the energy was there, and that's what matters. The energy was there to you know, take some damage and give it. And it just felt good just to know what I was going for. No one else knew. I mean, even the commentators, I think they didn't give me the credit for what I was doing. You know, he was having me in my nose bled, but every time he hit me, I was chopping the legs down, getting a little closer. So if it didn't happen second round, third round, I was going to start getting some success with my hands, and we just saw a totally different fight.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought, you know, you were excellent in the first, your tactics, and I think maybe the fact he caught your nose maybe made it look a little bit worse in the perception
the blood
of what we were watching. But, you know, the confidence I feel is back, even since the Tony Ferguson fight. That was a phenomenal fight, a phenomenal performance. Obviously, Duke did the right thing for you and stopped the fight when you got hurt. Was that the start of the new confidence, the rejuvenated Anthony Pettis that we're seeing?
No, actually, the Chiesa camp was, man, the first Chiesa fight that was supposed to happen. If I would have fought Chiesa in New York when it was supposed to happen, and no disrespect to Chiesa, I would have smashed him, and I was so prepared. And then the fight got pushed back. It gave me more time to get this mind exactly where it's supposed to be. I think I just realized when I come to practice, it's not about winning the practice. It's about winning the position, and I got back to winning positions. And when I win the position, I'm so creative in the moment that people they love it.
Definitely. There was lots of emotion from Anthony Pettis after you won. Obviously, it's high risk and reward situation and circumstances, but that's probably the most emotion we've ever seen from you. Even afterwards, I saw the interview on ESPN when Duke came and joined you. There was a tear in the eye there. What did it mean to you? What was said between you and Duke?
Man, me and Duke have such a history together, man. Like I said, I tell everybody, me and Duke have been to the after party with the world title on my shoulder, with 2 world titles on my shoulder, and then we've also been in the hospital where I'm getting stitched up, and I'm probably going to be out for 6 months. So when you have so many emotions with one person, they've seen all of it. You have a trust. We have a relationship that is just bonded by, and blood couldn't make it stronger. It's just we've been through some stuff together.
Was that the emotion, Anthony?
Yeah, that was the emotion for sure. Just how much we've been through, man. And he knows how good I am, and I think that's why he's so hard on me. And we got to show it out there.
Definitely. And I want to move it on. Obviously, you called out. You said you'd love to fight the winner of this weekend's fight between Edson Barbosa and Justin Gaethje. But I think your buddy and training partner Paul Felder also wants that fight as well. You've talked about RDA. It seems to be a bit of a logjam at 155 pounds. You haven't ruled that out. But you haven't ruled out staying at 170 as well. So what is the plan? Is it 170? Is it 155?
Man, the plan is to fight the exciting fights. Where I'm at in my career, I've been the champion. I've gotten the big fight. I fought so many big fights. Look at my resume. Everybody on my resume is a contender or in contention. So I just want to keep fighting the best in the world. If it's 170 pounds, 155, I'm ready. And so the thing I like about 170 is I'm more natural there. So if I need a quick fight, they call, hey, you need to make 170. I can do that this weekend. That's something I can do quickly. 55, not so much. I have to prepare for that. I have to get my body ready for a cut. So this just gives me more options to fight.
Conor McGregor, right? I'm going to ask you this question, and he keeps tweeting out after fights saying he'll fight this guy. Why do you think Conor is constantly at this? Putting out tweets after a 155er puts in a good performance, or a 170er, a guy that's been in his division. Do you think there's a specific reason?
I have no idea. I'm not sure what his intentions are. I know he's a true fighter, man. That's a guy who loves fighting, and I think no matter how much money you make and how far away you get from the sport, you still love fighting. And I think somewhere deep down inside, he wants to fight. And if it's against me, for me, I'm not going to go out there and lobby for Conor McGregor fight. I'm not, hey, I need Conor McGregor. I don't need Conor McGregor. I'm making good money. I have a bunch of guys I could fight. But if he does want to fight, of course, bring it. That challenge right there, I love that challenge. I'm looking to fight July. If he's available for July, let's set it up. If not, we'll move on to the next guy.
You want to make money. That is the biggest fight in mixed martial arts at the moment, Conor McGregor, true?
Yeah, but so for me, the money is not going to come at the expense of me not being myself. I'm not going to go out and be like, I got to go talk crap and be this guy that call. I don't need to. I call guys out if they call me out. So if I need to get, if it's, I'm going to make what they call the Conor McGregor red painting night or whatever he calls it. It's not going to be at the expense of me not being myself. I'm going to be myself, and I'm saying I'm going to fight in July, Las Vegas, International Fight Week. So if he wants it, let's do it.
I think the fans want to see that, and it's a fight that's been talked about for a long, long time. But the interesting thing for me as well is, and I do appreciate you coming on to address that issue about talking about fighting Conor McGregor, because a lot of the other guys haven't done that. We've had Donald Cowboy Cerrone, we've had Nate Diaz, we've had a whole list of guys, Poirier, but they actually haven't come out and clarified or addressed to the media that they actually want to fight them. It's all been on their social media. So that says to me that you definitely want this fight to happen.
Yeah, man, like I said, I'd love for it to happen. I'm not going to play the game of the UFC has to do this. Let him get his shit with the UFC. I'm saying I'm ready July. That's what happens. I'll be there. If not, I'm still going to show up July and we'll have another opponent.
It's a serious call out though, in terms of you actually wanting to have that fight.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. I mean, I think if he says my name, I think it's the fight the fans want to see.
Yeah, I
That's why
agree.
I'm in for it. No, it's a fun stylistic matchup. But like I said, if I'm not going to go out and not be myself to try fighting McGregor, I can fight anybody at 170 and 155 pounds.
Have you had any interactions in the past with Conor on fight week or anything
Yeah,
like
I
that?
have, man. Yeah, when I coached the Ultimate Fighter, he had Ashling was his
Yeah.
teammate, and he came into the show. That was my one of my ladies that was fighting for me. So he came into the locker room respectful. There was no animosity. There was nothing that was out of the blue. But then again, it was before he was who he is now. So I'm not sure. I don't think there really is a relationship between us besides two talented fighters.
Yeah. Do you believe Conor's stock maybe is at an all-time low?
No, not at all, man. I mean, McGregor, he's McGregor, bro. Like, all he has to do is have one good win, and he's back at being the man. And he's one of the best at the talking, So, um, I, I appreciate the way he talks trash because he knows how to do it. All these other guys that are doing it, if it's not you, don't do it. You're making the sport look bad.
What appeals to you more than Anthony if it was on the table? Donald Cerrone, Diaz, Khabib, Max. What fight is it that appeals to you the most? Is it that Conor McGregor fight?
I think McGregor's the most interesting for the fans. I think that'd be a barn burner fight because we both bring it. But there is so many good guys. Max Holloway, that's another guy I want at my weight class. I'm gonna do another different fight. That'd be a totally different fight. Dustin Poirier. There's so many good guys.
Definitely. Anthony, it's been a real pleasure. I do appreciate you coming on and addressing that. And listen, a fantastic performance last weekend. Do appreciate the time.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.